The biggest reason we see the top players in the world have this incredibly straight dispersion of golf shots while still hitting the ball really far for what seems like not putting in much effort is because they are super efficient with their rotation going through the golf ball. They rotate seamlessly and fluidly going through the shot there. Now, that is something that isn't just for those players. Every golfer can do that. And I'm going to show you this 5-minute drill that you can do, whether it's at home in a simulator like me here at Tee to Green in Ayr in Scotland, or you can do it into a net. And it's going to be way better than hitting thousands of golf balls on the driving range. And what this drill is, this gets you into a rotated impact position. And then what we do, we ultimately swing from here. So this is the full procedure, okay? So what we do, we get the club. We put this club on the middle of our side there. And then what we do here, we rotate to where this club is right on top of the golf ball. And then put the club on the ground like so. We're in this rotated position. And then we spring back and spring through in just a half swing. And that gets us into this really nice rotated position. So it gets us training the movement better than we would ever be able to if we were just consciously thinking of it. It is an absolutely awesome drill, because what most golfers feel when they're, of course, coming through that golf ball, they're getting that stool out, they're getting that flip through the ball. This completely gets rid of that and gives you that real tour player level dispersion. So again, club on the side, rotating to where it gets right on top of the ball, club behind the ball, and then spring back, spring through, just a half swing. And then really nice from there. So that's where you're going to be really surprised with, one, the distance you hit it, as my first one totaled out, just a tiny bit left of the green. Totaled out at 160 with an 8-iron, with what felt like a half swing. And even that one, respectably 143 with literally what we felt like no backswing. Because ultimately, it really was just a half swing, but we were so efficient going through the golf ball. So again, why is this better than hitting thousands of golf balls on the range? Because like we said, this emulates that top tour player move. Now, when that top tour player move of continuing that rotation going through the golf ball, why that's so effective is because it keeps this club face nice and stable going through the golf ball. So it slows down what we call the rate of closure of the club face. So if we're a golfer who stalls out, so if I do one where I feel like no rotation, I just pass my arms through the ball, for me, I'm just always going to hit that ball left. I might get an okay distance out of it, but I'm always going to have that face really whipping over, as we could see there. Club path relatively okay, and we can see face angle -6, so it was really turning over. Because when I'm not using my body rotation, the hand and arms have to take over going through the golf shot, which means you're going to get a lot of wrap over of the club face. The only way you could make that work is doing what they did in the 90s and early 2000s, and that is having the toe up to the sky in a takeaway, ultimately being open with the face, flaring it out a little bit, and then you could somewhat get it to go to target, which it just about is. Again, you could get an okay distance out of it, but we see, because my face was open earlier, we're only -1.4, so it's still technically a little pull shot. But how inconsistent is that going to be? So even if I did that and I thought, okay, let me just try and get more rotation through there, I could still have the old pull shot coming in from that face turning over as well. So I could have the intent of rotating if I'm not doing the drill, but I won't get the face component also. I'd still get the hands and arms wrapping over. So I could be there thousands of balls on the range and really not get that many good reps. So that's where, again, this drill, club on the side, rotate to where it's on the golf ball, over the ball, and then just half swing back and through is a really good one to go there. And again, I actually hit that slightly toey, but we can see that's what we want to see. We want to see a really nice face angle. So for me, being in more into-out player, especially with my short irons, when you hit a short iron, you're generally going to be hitting more down. That moves path out towards the right or more into-out. You would generally see a little bit more of an inside path. But we would want the face certainly not to be pointing left, unless we're a pull fade of a player. But like I said, when you're rotating through that ball, that face stays super stable. Because if that face is nice and square to our swing arc, which is slightly toed down, if we just continue to turn that body, the face stays square. Square does not mean square to the target, it just means square to the arc. So if you see there, just before impact, It's actually pointing slightly right, but it's still square to the arc, but it stays square to the arc there. It's how you get that nice left exit. So again, you could just do 5 minutes. Turning there. Nice half swing. Lovely strike that. And then hit these nice straight ones all day long. Again, guys, rate of closure. I don't know where you can see it here. I'll zoom into this video if it keeps playing. Look at how nice and stable that club face stays. That toe of the club is not turning over at all. It's staying just square to the arc. I'm not trying to hold it off. Not trying that at all. I'm feeling nothing with my hands and arms. Absolutely nothing. I'm just getting in that good preset position. And I'm rotating back and I'm rotating through. Lovely. Did hit that one slightly toe again. That's my tendency. But again, that's what we want. Look at that. You can see the toe shot from there as well. Hopefully this zooms in enough so you can see that. But absolutely brilliant. Now, one more thing that this really, really helps you with is for guys who swing maybe a little bit excessive with that upper body. This will really get you in good sequencing, because if we dive into that preset position a little bit more in depth and the positions we get into, because when we put that club on our side and then we just get this over the ball and then grip it from there, we've technically got our hips more open than our chest. So our chest is just a little bit open to the golf ball. So you can see there with the buttons on my gilet, see how it's pointing in front? So that's where my hips are a lot more rotated. So that means that as I start to turn back, I'm going to remain in good sequencing. My chest is going to be a little bit less rotated than my lower body, so it's going to be incredibly difficult to swing over the top and 2 out to win from there. It's really going to make you really favour a little bit more on the inside. So, really good one for guys there. Now, another good thing is, when we do this, the weight, ultimately, when we get in this preset position, to get this club on top of the ball, it has to be on the left side. It has to be around 90% on that left side. So that really helps us, again, to get good low point control. You're going to strike really good golf shots. So that's where, if we get that weight more shifted, the low point of the swing arc gets after the golf ball, you can hit ball and turf. Lovely. So really, really good stuff. And also, let's say for guys who have their right shoulder too high, again, maybe throwing that shoulder over the top. When you do this, where's that shoulder? It's more down. The space between my right hip and my right shoulder has been diminished. Again, gives us a really nice place. And then swing back, swing through, lovely strike again. And again, these are swings that I'm not really feeling like I'm massively going into it now. 1 degree, so maybe not the best, but it hit the green. If it plays again, look at that. How stable that is. That's absolutely great. That's what we want. So, and then when you get more comfortable, so I'm only saying half swing because I want you guys to learn the feeling. So it gets you that full movement, and then swing a little bit longer if you want to. So there we go, I swung a little bit longer there. I think I got the face turning over a touch there. Oh, a little bit. But look at the distance difference. I mean, look at the total there, 166. But even again, I think I had that club face set up a little bit shut at setup. Look at the face. So super stable. That's what we want. So that's why it's really cool. I mean, hitting balls like here in tee to green, here in the west coast of Scotland. If you guys are ever in the area, playing a lot of championship golf courses, Royal Troon, Dundonald, they're all over here. Come here and you can see what the rate of closure does. Because that's going to tell you, if you can do that before you go out and play in your golf trip over here and all the great courses in Scotland, you're going to be having a really good, enjoyable time because you'll be playing great golf. But again, it controls that rate of closure. That did not feel like, I realised I really tried to rotate more and I almost shanked that. So that's where, again, be careful. I tried to get a little bit greedy with that, try to add in a little bit more turn. But that's the thing you've got to remember, and I'm saying this to myself right now. You're generally going to be rotating really nicely when you're doing this. Don't try to add more rotation into it, because if you are in a really rotated position and you add even more rotation, that club's going to go on the outside of the ball line and you're going to almost shank it like I did. So learn from me there. So, again, completely unscripted. Here we go. So nice position, so club on the side, rotate it to there, swing back, swing through. Really nice, lovely. A lot of you guys will be thinking as well, can't I just play golf with that? You can, I've done that. I've actually had a video on my channel here from a couple years ago where I went and played 9 holes doing this. and I played relatively okay. Ball flight was very controllable. It's just a little tight draw the whole day. You can go and do that, but I'll do it as a drill. Now, as you can imagine, if you rep this out, you're gonna get a much better feeling of what rotating through the golf ball is to get that tour player move. You just need to be familiar with it to start to get it. But there are moves in the golf swing that stop you from rotating. A lot of golfers who can't rotate do it because they would hit really poor shots if they do so. So I do have a whole course about this, and I have loads of videos on my channel also, but the course gets into as much depth. It gives you a coaching knowledge of this topic, and it gives you practice plans to be able to apply your fault to what we're seeing and how to analyze your swing when you're looking at each bits and what to look for. That's called the Ultimate Guide to Rotation and Downswing. There is a link in the description that will give you the absolute best knowledge out there. You will know a lot more than even most golf coaches out there on the topic. So if you do this drill, you still can't get the rotation in there when you then put the ball back into normal spot, then absolutely that course will help you out. So let's say you've done a ton of that. You're just at the end of your 5 minutes. I would personally do the entire 5 minutes there doing the drill. Just replicate that feel into some nice little smooth swings. You're going to be rotating very, very nicely for a little soften. That was great. Let's end it there, guys. Look at that, 0.0. So if you want to know whether this works, the first little swing afterwards, face angle, perfect. And it was right on, almost on the middle of the line. Club path was 1.7, so it won't quite be perfectly on target. So again, this helps you for that face control, helps you to be efficient through the golf ball for power. What's not to like? 5 minutes will be better than 1,000 hours on that driving range beating balls. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction, just like this, hit a subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.